Hi friends, it's Miss Kelley. I'm in the Redwood Forest in California with Mr. Bear. My daughter Kelsey is filming. I'm here to visit her. She goes to school up here. And today, as you can see, we are surrounded by beautiful trees and also some beautiful ferns that like to hang with them. And the reason we're here today is we're reading a book called The Bear and the Fern. Of course, Mr. Bear is all about this book. Now, the setting for this book is different than the setting I'm in, but we wanted to share what Northern California looks like. This book is written by Miltsky, and it's illustrated by Mary Manning. And you can see even the bear's different. It looks like a polar bear, not bears that live around here like black bears and grizzly bears. So, let's go. There's the fern, there's the bear. Two main characters. It started one day when a man and his wife moved into a house to begin their new life. They laid down the carpets and painted one wall. They hung up some pictures in the front entry hall. So it's a rhyming book, isn't it? Their family came over, bringing gifts for their home: 3 blenders, 2 toasters, and a used garden gnome. And one final gift that they liked quite a lot: a smallish green plant in a reddish clay pot. So there we have a baby fern. The plant was placed down near a window with care in a room with a crib and a brand new stuffed bear. Can you infer who else is going to be in this room with a crib? And a brand new stuffed bear with brilliant white fur and a wide, happy grin, like he just couldn't wait for the fun to begin. There's another clue here, a bag that says baby. The bear woke each night and snuck out the door, anxious to run round the house and explore. He'd ask the plant nicely each night before he went, "Care to go for a walk?" But she'd never consent. "I can't go, don't bother," said the plant, sounding stern. "I'm not able to move. I'm only a fern." "But won't you just try?" Bear sounded confused, but Fern shook her leaves and firmly refused. Sounds like she might be stubborn. So Bear, with a sigh, would explore on his own, while Fern watched the yard through the glass all alone. Looking at Bear, he doesn't look like he's all that thrilled. And Fern doesn't have a face, so we're not sure how she feels. Weeks rolled on by and Fern wouldn't relent. Secure in her place, unmoved and content, while Bear ran off playing with new friends he had made: a vacuum, some books, and a pale pink lampshade. He seems like a fun bear. He'd ask every night before running about, "Could we go for a walk? It's so nice to go out. There's a garden out back, and it all smells so sweet, and some funny old roses that I'd like you to meet." And each time he'd ask, Fern would soundly reject. "I'm a potted houseplant. What do you expect? Plants sit and we grow and we take in the sun. We don't walk, we don't spin, we don't have that much fun." "But how do you know? Try it once," he'd implore. But Fern wouldn't budge from her place on the floor. I'm looking on the pages and I see a ladybug. I think she might be on every page. Months passed them by and the days became colder. Bear's fur had faded and Fern had grown older. Each night Bear'd go out, whether snow, cold, or rain, while Fern watched him play from behind her glass pane. And night after night, he'd ask Fern to go, but each time he'd ask, she'd just shake her leaves no. I wonder how she could go out, what Bear could do to have her come out. I suppose he could carry her out, and at least she'd be outside. She might not be able to run around, but she might be able to play with him. She'd at least feel the rain. Seasons flew by and years faded away, with Fern in her spot and Bear out to play. His one ear was chewed and his fur matted down. Her leaves had grown bigger and some edges were brown. That's another thing we have to read into. If her edges of her leaves are brown, but they've grown bigger, we know she's getting older, don't we? But still Bear kept trying. You don't need to be prone. And Fern would snap back, just leave me alone. Oh, prone. That must mean stay in one place. Decades would pass in much the same way. Decades means 10 years, so more than 10 years, maybe 20 years. And then, as it happened, on one fateful day, a strange man appeared and came through the door and dropped a big box in the room on the floor. He packed up the box with all that could fit, some toys, a few games, and a used catcher's mitt. I'm guessing he's a mover. He moved out the bed, the dresser, and chair. Then on top of the box, he placed the old bear. I've no room for this plant, the man said with a bark, and he left Fern behind on her spot in the dark. Can plants live in the dark? Not so well. Doesn't look good for Fern. I don't think so. Fern sat real still in the silence of night, reflecting upon her unfortunate plight. So she's thinking how she's kind of stuck there. The only light came from a bit of moon glow, and she anxiously looked through the frosty window. I wonder what she's looking for. But no one was playing in the cold wintry air, and she wept as she realized that Bear wasn't there. She must feel really alone. Then, all alone, her leaves withered and dry, Fern sadly wondered, well, what if I try? She rocked to her left, then swayed to her right, pushing herself with all of her might. It took all her strength and the last of her will, but she took a small hop away from the sill. Wow, she's finally getting brave, isn't she? She couldn't believe it and started to cry. I knew you could do it if only you'd try. It was Bear. He'd come back and he stood at the door, more faded, more brilliant than ever before. What a true friend Bear is, isn't he? I'm sorry, said Fern as she finished a spin. I'm sorry I waited so long to begin. Bear hobbled over to Fern's brand new spot and put his arm gently around the clay pot. Come, Fern, Bear whispered, too choked up to talk. Come take my hand and let's go for a walk. The end. I really love this story because I think it's telling us that it's never too late to try something that might be really hard. And guess what's coming soon? School. So maybe there's something that's really hard for you that this book might inspire you to try, to work harder at. I know I've been working on something all summer to be better. If you stop by my room this fall, I'll tell you what it is. All right. Oh, Mr. Bear, you look like you're sleeping. All right. So I will see you soon, friends. Have a great rest of the summer. Bye from Miss Kelley and Mr. Bear.